Eat outside today, Opal. Use the back steps. The kitchen table is not for someone like you.
She cooked the food. She scrubbed the floor. She pressed the blouse. And now she eats outside with the dogs. She has no idea that in 4 minutes, everything is going to change. The Virginia morning smelled like wet grass and wood smoke and the slow, invisible burn of a person being turned into furniture. Opal Fontaine arrived at the Aldridge house at 6:10, the same as always. She knew the back door code. She knew which burner ran hot. By 7:15, breakfast was finished. Laundry was running. The blouse was pressed. The kitchen floor was clean enough to eat off. She knew the exact angle to hold the iron so the silk would not pucker. She knew this house the way you know a place you have poured years into. The floor she scrubbed on both knees was spotless. Nobody would ever credit the hands that made it that way. Vivian Aldridge came downstairs at 7:45. The kind of woman who never raises her voice because the voice has never needed raising.
My book club is coming at noon. I need this kitchen pristine. Take your plate outside.
Yes, ma'am.
She picked up the plate. The food she had cooked came from a recipe her grandmother whispered to her in a kitchen in Memphis when she was 9 years old. The dog pressed its heavy head against her knee the moment she sat down. She broke off a piece of biscuit and gave it away before feeding herself. She closed her eyes and prayed, not for revenge, not for rescue, just for the patience to keep being herself when the world kept trying to make her smaller. Through the kitchen glass, Vivian sipped her coffee and watched without guilt, without hesitation, without a single breath of consideration. The woman sitting on the back steps did not know rescue was already on the highway, but the woman inside had even less idea what was coming for her. 11 years earlier, Opal Fontaine had an office on the 27th floor of a building in Nashville that she had earned the hard way. Broderick was charming. Broderick was smart. Over 2 years, he moved money through accounts connected to her name, her signature, and her credibility. When investigators arrived, they arrived with her name on every page. She fought for 16 months. She lost anyway. 7 months inside a federal facility. The judge called it negligence. The attorney called it a miscarriage. Opal never said what she called it. She simply sat on the bunk and survived. Marcus was 17. He drove 4 hours every single month to visit without missing once. He never let her see the anger, but she always felt it.
I am coming every single month. Do not tell me not to. I am coming.
When she came home, the house was gone. The accounts were empty. The career carried an invisible mark everyone noticed, but nobody admitted seeing. Miss Loretta took her in. Not out of sympathy, out of the stubborn moral refusal of a woman who had seen too many people fall through the cracks.
You are staying here until you are standing again. That is not a question.
Every night, after the Aldridge dishes were done and the counters were wiped, Opal opened a cracked laptop, held together with a rubber band, and rebuilt. 2 years of stolen hours, late-night calls, real software, real clients, real patents, and 5 weeks ago, a real offer.
I watched you operate at your peak, Opal. I never forgot what I saw. Send me the proposal.
On the back steps, the dogs raised their ears toward the front gate. Opal heard the engine before she saw the vehicle.
The patent filed last Tuesday. 3 clients confirmed this morning. We are real now, Darius.
The house she cleaned every morning had never once seen who was cleaning it. That was about to change permanently.
The silver needs polishing before noon. And make sure the guest bathroom smells like something other than bleach.
Yes, ma'am. Not sure, Tam.
One tear fell. She did not wipe it. She polished the silver with the tear still on her cheek, because stopping was never an option she had been given.
You keep building, Opal. You keep building until the building stands on its own. Then you walk.
Every night she built. Every morning she served. The distance between those two lives was measured in hours she would never get back.
The offer came in this morning. Final number. Opal, it is done.
Marcus stood in front of a mirror adjusting his blazer. He was not getting dressed for a meeting. He was getting dressed for a rescue he had planned for years. On the back porch steps, something had changed behind those dark brown eyes. Not endurance anymore, anticipation. The dogs heard it first. A low, controlled engine rolled through the front gate like inevitability arriving at exactly the right speed. Through the kitchen window, Vivian appeared at the front door. She straightened her posture and adjusted her face into the expression she kept for people who mattered. A black SUV stopped in the driveway. Two men stepped out. The Virginia morning light caught the gold watch of the older man and held it without trying.
Good morning. We are here to see Opal Fontaine. I believe she works here.
You mean the housekeeper?
My mother. My mother.
The pleasant mask cracked. The entire system failed. The comfortable assumptions that had controlled the house for years disappeared in a single sentence. Opal slowly stood from the back steps, not because she was weak, because she had decided the moment had arrived. She straightened the apron. She placed the plate down. She looked at the dogs one final time. She walked around the side of the house the way she did everything now, with the hard-earned certainty that she would never again hurry herself for someone else's comfort. When Marcus saw his mother coming around the corner of the house, something crossed his face that had nothing to do with business and everything to do with blood.
Opal, the acquisition closed at 9 this morning. Your 32% stake is clean and liquid. $28 million. It is done.
Vivian Aldridge made a sound that had no name. It was not a word. It was not a breath. It was something between the two. Something she had never made before. Opal looked at Vivian, not with victory, not with cruelty, with something far more powerful. The look of a woman who had finally finished reading a chapter. She reached behind her back and untied the apron. She pulled it over her head. She folded it once with the same hands that had folded 1,000 things for this house.
I was going to give 2 weeks' notice. Actually, I will not.
She placed the folded apron on the hood of the black SUV. Somehow it felt like the only place it belonged. This was no longer a story about money. This was a mother and son standing in a driveway, finally understanding that they had survived something created to break them. The book club overnight, 22 minutes later. Vivian was still standing in the driveway. When they asked what happened, she had no answer. Opal settled into the SUV, feeling exactly like herself again. The engine started, low, controlled, unapologetic. The vehicle moved south and disappeared. Nobody warns you about the moment when the life you built on top of other people's silence begins to collapse underneath you. In the back seat, Opal Fontaine rested one hand against the window and felt the Virginia road moving beneath a life that was finally completely hers.
You never have to press another blouse that is not your own. Not ever again.
I press that blouse every morning because it is the work in front of me. That is who I am.
At a restaurant table, with a bread roll held in a small fist and a gap-toothed smile, the smallest person in the room saw everything the adults were still trying to understand.
Grandma, are you not going to that lady's house anymore? The one with the dogs?
No, baby. Grandma is done working at that house.
Good, because making you eat outside was mean. Even the dogs thought so.
A 5-year-old child said what every adult in that driveway had been too proud, too polished, or too ashamed to say. Even the dog seemed to understand. Months later, Opal stood inside a corner office with her name written on the door. Not a borrowed name, not a controlled name, the name she had carried through everything. She and Darius reviewed contracts the way two people with earned respect work together. Without pretending, without ego, just precision and trust. 3 years after the SUV left the driveway, the Aldridge world began to fall apart. A failed partnership, frozen accounts, friends who stopped answering calls. Grant sat alone in a dark office surrounded by paperwork, the kind of financial collapse that moves slowly and then destroys everything at once.
The accounts are frozen. The lawyers cost more than what is left. Nobody is returning my calls.
I have called everyone I know. Nobody picks up anymore.
She opened her contacts. Her finger stopped on one name. She almost put the phone down 5 times. On the 5th attempt, she pressed call.
Opal, it is Paige. I know I have no right to call you, but I did not know who else to call.
Silence filled the other end of the line. Not anger, not cruelty, just stillness. Then came 4 words that carried more weight than $28 million ever could.
Tell me what you need.
Opal made 4 calls that quietly redirected a deal that would have destroyed them. She never sent a bill. She never asked for recognition. She connected Grant with 2 of Virginia's most respected restructuring attorneys. People from her network who helped because she asked.
I reviewed the partnership structure. There is a path through this, but it requires a specific redirect.
Make the calls. Use my name where it helps. Do not mention where I know them from.
She sat alone in the conference room after everyone had left. She was not helping Vivian because Vivian deserved it. She was protecting the standard she had created for herself.
You are helping her? After everything? She made you eat with the dogs, Mom.
I know exactly what she did. I am not doing this for her. I am doing it for me.
Marcus watched his mother become something even greater than the empire she had built. Slowly, he lowered his crossed arms. Understanding finally arrived. 5 weeks later, Opal sat across from Vivian in a quiet coffee shop. No performance, no expensive clothing, just 2 women carrying the weight of everything between them.
How are you so decent to me after everything? After the back steps and the dogs? How did you not just let us fall?
Opal allowed the question to sit in the silence. She did not rush. She had learned on those back steps that silence before truth was not weakness. It was precision.
I spent a long time being someone the world decided did not deserve a seat at the table. I know what it feels like to need help and have nobody come. I decided I would not be that for someone else. Not even someone who had been exactly that to me. What you did was wrong, Vivienne. You looked at me and saw less than I was. That still hurts. But I do not get to decide your worth the way you decided mine. That is a standard I hold for myself. I helped you because it was the right thing to do. Not because you deserved it. Because I did.
Vivian sat there with tears she did not wipe away. The kind of realization that does not come from punishment. The kind that comes from being forgiven when you know you did not deserve it. The 2 women remained in the quiet coffee shop, 2 cups between them. The distance between who they had been and who they had become, measured in silence and grace. Opal walked through the park with her son and grandson. The smallest hand held both of theirs. Their arms moved together. The world asked nothing from any of them. She sat on a park bench beneath the golden evening light and touched the red thread bracelet she had worn since before prison. The one thing nobody had ever taken from her. There is someone in your life right now, maybe someone you overlook, maybe someone whose dignity you have quietly borrowed without ever giving anything back. So let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone and seen less than they truly were? And if they showed you grace afterward, did you understand what that grace cost them? Here is what Opal carries now. First, your character is not written by how others treat you. It is written by what you choose to do afterward. Second, the person who stays invisible the longest often carries the most. See them before something dramatic has to arrive at their driveway to remind you. Third, grace given to someone who does not deserve it is not weakness. It is one of the strongest choices a person can make. If this story reached something honest inside you tonight, I am glad you stayed until the end. Hit the like button so this reaches someone else who needs it. Subscribe so you never miss the next one. Tell me in the comments, who is the person in your life you almost failed to see? I read every single one. Share this with someone who needs to hear it tonight. One tap. That is all it takes. Sometimes a single story at the right moment can change the way you look at the person standing beside you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. The world does not only need more people who succeed, it needs more people who, even after everything, still choose to show up.
I just don't try to fight the talent.
Eat outside today, Opal. Use the back steps. The kitchen table is not for someone like you.